Hello.
Hey. So there's a reason I'm in a different channel than the live events. Those don't support video.
Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
I said there's a reason I'm in a different channel than the live events. The staging channels don't support video.
Oh, dumb. Okay. I didn't know that.
So I created a new one. Luckily you gave me permission, so I was able to get it all set up.
You're good. I'll just put an update in here really quick for everyone then.
I figured I'd just grab people out of there as they popped in.
And are you doing OBS or are you doing Stream Elements?
Both. You can't do one without the other.
Gotcha. Okay. Everyone just went live at the same time. Like 5 people. Jeez.
Is that alright for background? I'm going to turn it down when we start going, but just while people file
Yeah, it's
in.
fine.
Okay.
I hate that it literally gets dark at 5 p.m. I have to turn on my lights.
I know, same.
So freaking annoying. I do have to pick up Lincoln, like, right at 5. I have to leave, but I'll be on my cell phone.
Okay. What's up, Ember's mom?
It should
Mom.
be Sugar Mama. Hi, daughter. Why are you always mom? Am I either mom
you're
or
just
dad to people?
Yeah, you're just the parent. You're the parent person.
That has been me since high school. I had a couple friends who called me dad.
I mean, do you want me to change it to dad? Because I can change it to dad.
No, it's okay. I'm fine with whatever. And I don't talk to those people anymore anyways because they sided with my ex-husband. So we don't go with that.
Oh, gross.
I know, right? Oh my god. Yay for tutorials.
Right?
Because I'm sucking at Stream Elements and OBS and stuff, so.
What did body? Oh, what is happening with freaking StreamCord right now? Like, so many people are falling off of the notifications. Like, I saw the other day that you fell off, Chev.
What do you mean?
Of the notifications. So, like, the bot that does, like, the auto notifications in Discord when you go live.
Oh.
You didn't even show up in here either. Oh, wait, yes, you did. Okay. Oh, Body's just put his in the wrong one. Okay.
Will there be a test?
Wait, who said it for a wee test?
DeLorean in my Twitch chat.
Oh, Laura. What up, Laura? And yes, there will be a test.
Give me anxiety now.
Laura's here. That means I can fuck around and not pay attention. Accurate.
Be back. Una momento.
Okay. In my underwear. Oh my god.
Did I give everyone like an extra 5 minutes to file in? You think? Or should we just start right at 5?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I'd give him a couple minutes.
Then I'll go to my overlays and add another 5 minutes.
Also, yeah, how do you do that timer thing? Because I really want to do it.
It's just a widget in Stream Elements. I'll show you guys.
Oh, okay. I tried to figure it out, but I literally couldn't. It's like, I don't know how they're doing this.
Stream Elements has some issues. It's got a lot of cool stuff, but it has needs some UI work, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree.
Welcome back.
Ah. I followed, by the way, so.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem. Thought I had already followed, but I guess not. Whoopsies.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like very many people are joining the voice, but that's fine. We have a few people in the chat. And this is there'll be a VOD, and it'll be on YouTube and everything too, so if anyone wants to follow along, they'll be welcome to. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. Okay. So do you guys like this view better? And then I'm going to put my screen over that animation there. Or do you like this view better? Where you'll see everything. All nice and expanded. Any preferences?
For Discord, the bigger image would be easier for us to
Okay.
see it since it's small already.
Okay. All right, then that's what we'll stick with. Okay, so basically, in this tutorial, I kind of wanted to just show everybody how to set up OBS first. So that might be part of something that, yeah, I know, Chefception, sorry. In fact, I'm going to close this OBS now that we're on the view I want, because I opened a second one to use as the tutorial here. But anyway, so what I want to do is start off just setting up OBS. So I created a new profile in OBS and a new scene collection profile and a settings profile. So just real quickly, I'm going to walk through all the settings and everything that like how I dial in my settings for OBS. And I do multi-streaming, so I have to dial them in a little more intensely to get all the platforms to work properly, but we won't go into that. I just want to show you guys how to optimize for Twitch, it's pretty easy, but we'll go through that real fast, and then we'll dive into stream elements. So that'll just be a quick little thing. So those of you who want to follow along, go ahead and open up OBS, and if you have stuff set up already a little bit, that's fine. We're going to start from scratch, so if you really want to follow along perfectly, then make sure OBS is freshly installed and you've got nothing going on down here in scenes and sources or settings. All right, so one of the first things, yes, OBS Studio. That's a good. I'm glad you asked that question, MFN, because we are not using Streamlabs OBS. They are two different programs. Streamlabs is a fork of the open source project OBS. I'm yelling because the music's too loud. I forgot to turn it down. Give me 1 second. Okay. So Streamlabs OBS is a fork of regular OBS, and they went ahead and added a bunch of stuff on there that integrates the program with their service, with Streamlabs. It's pretty cool. It does a lot of stuff. They even do multi-streaming built right in. It's kind of janky compared to Restream.io, but so if you want to check out Streamlabs, I highly recommend it, but this is not a tutorial about Streamlabs. You can still use stream elements in Streamlabs, so when we get to that part, that will apply. And also a lot of the settings still do apply because they are very similar programs, since one is a fork of the other. But for the most part, if you want to follow along and not get confused or lost, it's definitely stick with regular OBS Studio. So go ahead and get that all installing. And like I said,
Streamlabs OBS is going to be on Thursday.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's someone else, right? Not me?
Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
Shav. Shav's gonna do the Streamlabs OBS.
Okay, I did used to use Streamlabs for a long time, but I went back to regular OBS. It seems to run a little better on my machine. It uses fewer resources. The stats are way better for when things are going wrong. So I don't know. Is there a Windows magnifier? Oh, hell yeah. Okay. There we go. Sweet. Check that out. Okay, wait, can you guys see the magnification? Can you see that, Ember?
I don't think it did anything to your screen, no.
Ah, damn it. Okay, I guess that just... How do I exit it? Oh, no. I'm stuck in the Windows magnifier. Oh, shit. Somebody Google how to turn off Windows magnifier. Hold on, let's see
Help
here.
us!
Oh, I found it. Okay.
Okay.
Close it. Okay, there we go. Well, I was hoping that would just work. Let's try... I know there was something. Hold on. I just want to Google this real fast because I think it will really help. Windows magnifier shortcut. Come on. Windows 11, turn on magnifier. Customize zoom. Windows logo key plus sign.
ChevBot online.
Oh, about time. I started that bot a while ago. I tried to get it in here, and then I gave up on it. All right. I guess we won't worry about it. I don't want to waste too much time here. Hopefully you guys can see everything pretty well when I'm in OBS here.
MFN says very epic voice.
That is actually Jeff Steitzer's voice. So he's the voice of the multiplayer announcer in Halo. Double kill, triple kill. That is actually his voice. He did a cameo for me and that was one of the voice lines he did. It was awesome. Okay, so I guess I should put Discord in streamer mode. Let's do that real fast. This will give you guys time to install OBS, luckily. So, where do you activate streamer mode? Right there. Okay. Cool. Okay, so you can see the stats window down here. I can pop it out and make it a little bigger, make it a little easier to see, I guess. But this is kind of your key that you want to have this visible. I don't know if it's visible by default. If it's not visible for you guys, hit view and then you can actually open. Oh, here's the stats one. You can open this one separately. It's just a pop out.
Brighty Gaming says, "Hey, bud.
Hey, how's it going?" If you go to docs and go to stats, that'll give you this one. This one you can dock into the tray here. And that way it's always open for you, and you can always see your stats. And I'm going to go over the stats in a little bit when we get to where we're setting up the settings. But I just wanted to make sure all you guys have your stats windows open. If you don't have the stats open, you don't know when you're dropping frames. You don't know when it's network lag versus GPU lag. All the useful stuff is right there. Streamlabs has a little bit of that, but it's very limited in Streamlabs. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go through settings here. I hope you guys can see all this. I know that it's kind of tiny. I'm trying to think of how I can make it a little bigger for everyone. Oh, I know what I can do. Hold on. Let me shrink my screen resolution. Oh, no, not through there. Through NVIDIA control panel. I meant to do this beforehand. I totally forgot. Sorry guys, bear with me for just a moment. I just want to make sure people can see this. I don't want to get a bunch of comments on the video saying that it's impossible to see.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Shavra Khan says never, lol.
Let's do 1920
Shut up, Shav.
1080.
MFN says chaos stream. Chaos stream.
Okay, this should be a lot better. Now let's just go find... Make sure this is... Okay, I think nothing's cut off, right? You guys can see everything? Awesome. Coda, go away, buddy. Alright. There, is that a lot better, Ember? Can you see things better? Ember, are you there? Uh-oh, what happened? Did I lose people? Oh, you're muted. Okay.
Meant to Bree says Meant one flames, Meant one flames.
Okay, and restream. Where'd you go, restream? I think I'm gonna have to reopen the restream chat overlay. I think it's stuck off on the edge of the ultra wide. You guys can hear me though, right? Someone just say yes in the chat. Just want to make
MFN
sure.
says Ember sometimes gets distracted. It
Okay.
looks alright, emo.
Awesome. Cool.
Shavra Khan says yup.
All right,
MFN
and
says yeah, we can hear.
one more thing. I'm gonna grab Epic Pen. I forgot to install that as well. Here, I thought I was all prepared. I already have this, so I just need to download it. Come on, quickly now. It's a small program, it'll install really fast if it would just finish downloading. There we go. No, don't start on Windows Login. Okay, and then just real fast, I'm going to put you guys on a BRB screen so I can grab my key without exposing it. Epic Pen. There you are.
Vibes to the music.
I love this. Oh, I'm going to actually show you guys that too here in a sec when I come back, because you guys will appreciate this this program I'm using for the music as well. Activate Pro.
Yes.
Put the code in. Activate.
Shavra Khan says, so what is Epic Pen?
Okay, you'll see. It's just a tool to be able to draw on your
DeLorean
screen.
says already learning things. Epic Pen seems cool. Shocked face.
Yeah, Epic Pen is awesome. I bought the Pro version a long time ago because it's pretty cool.
Shavra Khan
just to
says,
make
okay,
sure
cool.
you guys can see this, right? I think, okay, yeah, OBS seems to see it. Awesome. Okay, back to the arrow. Minimize this. All right, so first, I'll show you guys. I'll get to Epic Pen in a second, but here is Pretzel Rocks. Whoever named it, I don't know. It's the stupid name, but it's an awesome program. It's a little steep in the price department if you want to pay for it. You get a lot out of it for free, but they actually did just recently limit it even more to get you to pay, and I did pay because I do like it a lot. But there's all these stations, and these are all royalty-free radio stations. My favorite one is actually the Chiptunes one, somewhere in here. Where'd that one go? Oh, right here. I listen to this one a lot.
That's the one that I use.
For gaming. Oh, yeah, I love Pretzel Rocks. That's my favorite. And then there's the Hype Base one. That's the one I've been using for stuff like this. I tend to use the Chiptunes one when I'm doing game content. But yeah, highly recommend Pretzel Rocks. If you're doing stuff for YouTube, you can even turn on YouTube Safe because it's extra strict, and it will limit the content even more to just stuff that works for YouTube. It has an instrumental filter, which is cool, but I feel like a lot of the songs in their library are not tagged properly because most of them are instrumental anyway. And then as soon as you turn on this filter, it like limits the songs down to like a tiny little
MFN says,
amount.
wait, I was distracted by my 5-year-old. Where is this?
Just Google for Pretzel Rocks. You'll find it. You just Google Pretzel Rocks for Windows, and you'll find it. You can also just play it in a tab in your browser, whatever you're most comfortable with. Oh, and I totally exposed my Epic Pen code there. Oops. Oh, well.
Rip.
I forgot to close it.
Ruh-roh. But
It's fine.
there's
I could
also
probably get
an
them to
app
change
in
it.
Streamlabs.
Meant to Bree says STEALIN that code clips.
Well, if
I
it gets
used the app
invalidated,
in
it wasn't very
Streamlabs.
expensive. What's that?
For Pretzel Rock. For Pretzel
Oh.
Rock, there's an app. for
Yeah, the
Streamlabs.
only thing that sucks about Streamlabs apps is you can't delete them. Once they're installed, they're there forever. I don't know what's...
No, you can delete them.
All you can do is go into the settings and disable them. I was never able to delete them.
Well, yeah,
if you figured out how, you have to show me later. But let's move on for now. So I'm gonna open this up. So here, you guys can see this pen now. This stats window. That's what I was talking about earlier. Definitely check out the stats window once you get OBS up. Now we're gonna go into the settings, and as long as you guys can see everything, now we can actually go through. So one of the first things I do, everyone kind of jokes because I take clips of everybody, and it's just easy with OBS. When I go into OBS, all I have to do is hit a single hotkey, and I can take clips. And that's because in settings here, oh, I guess you have to go to output first to do this. You know what? We'll talk about the replay thing in a second. Let's just go through this in order. And I'm going to skip the general tab because by and large you can leave this on default. So I'm going to come back to it when we talk about the replay buffer setting because there's some settings in here that I want. There is one setting we should talk about. When you want to start a stream, Azula is one person I know who has a habit of hitting the start stream button by accident. And so you can tick this little box here, show confirmation dialogue when starting streams, and that will prevent you from just starting streaming right away. Same thing when stopping streams. If you're accidentally stopping your streams, you can do that too. There's the one for recording. You can automatically record while you're streaming. So definitely go through the general and look at those settings. Some of those are useful for a lot of people. Okay, the stream tab. This is where it all begins. So this is where you have to connect your account and everything. So there's two ways that you can do this. So you can come in here and you can set up all these different services. For Twitch, you can go get your stream key from Twitch and you can just use stream key, or you can go connect your account. And obviously I prefer connecting your account because it's just way easier. So if I just type in here and log in. Oh, somehow I screwed up my password. There we go. Okay, and then it's going to give me a little token here.
Meant to Bree says my name is Chefcast and this is my password 1.
How'd you know? Oh, thank you, babe.
Shavra Khan says we will close our eyes so you can make sure.
Let's see, this is just... What is this?
Meant to Bree
Backups,
says I'm a
password
hacker.
reminder. Okay, I don't know what the
Next time your caps
Twitchy
lock is
app
on.
was doing
That's
here.
all me.
MFN says, can we have your mother's maiden name too?
Yep, you can. All right, so once you've connected your account, it'll show this. It'll automatically have your stream key now. You can go find that in your Twitch settings if you want to do that. Just be careful not to expose your stream key to the internet, obviously. It's easy to reset, but if you didn't notice that you leaked it, then people can connect to your account and start streaming. So just be careful with that. We can go into a bandwidth test mode here. I think we won't touch on that actually for now because it's not very good. All right, so that's it for now. I'm going to hit apply. That links up my account, and you'll notice as soon as you hit apply, it pops open some docs for you. Minimize this for a second. Oh, oops. Okay, well, I'll just move it out of the way. But anyway, you can see your stream chat shows up there, and then you can also see the stream information. And you can dock these. You can drag them and put them into OBS to make it a little easier so they're not floating. But it's nice. It makes it super easy. You can see right now it already connected. It has all the data I put in for this stream. Super simple. Now, this is where it gets a little muddy. The output tab. Okay. First rule of the video bitrate. Don't go above 6,000 if you're streaming to Twitch. That is their max. If you go above 6,000 and you start streaming, it won't give you an error or anything. You'll just go to your stream and it will be black, or it will be very laggy. It'll have all sorts of issues. So never above 6,000. For other services like YouTube, you can go up super high, but Twitch has a hard cap at 6,000. So if you're ever like told to put in a higher bitrate than that, don't. It's just you're just gonna screw up your stream. Now dialing this in though depends on how fast your internet is. Now I have gigabit internet, both upload and download speeds, so I would max this out because I have no problems with internet speed. I'm also wired. That's another important thing. One thing to know about wireless versus Ethernet. Wireless is, what's it called? Monoplex? I can't remember what it's called, but I know that Ethernet is full duplex. And what that means is on a Ethernet cord, you can send a packet one way while another packet is coming this way. So they can just go past like cars on a highway, go in the opposite direction. That is not true about Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is you ping pong packets back and forth. You send a packet to the router sends one back, and it just keeps going like that. So automatically Wi-Fi is half as fast, at least half as fast, usually more, because Wi-Fi is just, it's radio waves. They bounce around your house. They get absorbed by walls. The more insulation you have, the harder it is to penetrate the walls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many factors that go into your Wi-Fi speed. So if you've got super fast Wi-Fi,
MFN says, never knew that.
If you're getting 100, gigabytes across your Wi-Fi or something because you're using like super fast 5G, something, then you're probably fine. But yeah, Wi-Fi speed is going to really kill your stream quality. It's going to cause game lag too. So if you play games and you really care about the lag, figure out how to get Ethernet working, if possible, in your place. Yeah, so if you're using Wi-Fi, I would say the safest bet is the default 2500. That's the lowest you can go without the stream looking god awful. I would start there and then bump it up if you're worried about your internet speed. So if you're on Wi-Fi and or your internet's not very fast, start at 2500 and then go up to 3000.
Ethernet cables are cheap on Amazon. Just an FYI.
Yeah, you can get like big, huge, long Ethernet cables, like 50 footers. That you can go. Just the longer of the cable you get, the more the signal will degrade. So 50 foot's okay. I think probably 100 foot's okay without some sort of repeater. I don't know a ton about.
I need a 100 foot sad face.
But yeah, I think under 100 foot's probably fine. I don't know, try it. Tell me what you find with it if you have any problems with it. I did have a 50-foot cable though, and that worked great with no problems. I didn't need any other equipment, just the cable. So that was fine. And they make flat ones too. So if you need like a flat cable that runs underneath the carpet or something like that, those are kind of nice. Anyway, I usually go in 500 kilobit increments. So go up to 3000, then 3500, then 4000. And if you can keep going up and you got that stat window open down here, if you don't see any dropped frames in this area right here, notice this is dropped frames network. It says dropped frames network right there. That is network packets that are dropping. Those are the packets that are going to start dropping when your bit rate's screwed up. So don't the people get really confused. Oh, they're dropping packets here, but they start messing with the bit rate. The bit rate's not going to do anything to the stats that are right here. What I just highlighted in yellow, those are your GPU hardware stats. That means you need to turn down game settings, you need to close other programs, you need to free up resources on your computer if you're dropping frames in this area here. And you'll notice already I have some dropped frames, like there's 3 out of however many dropped frames. And I'm not even streaming, and it says that. This just happens. This is, especially if your computer's doing something for a second. If you ever watch Task Manager while you open a program or do anything, for a split second, your CPU just goes to 100% and then drops right back down. That's okay. That's just your computer just trying to get a program open as fast as possible and then freeing up that resource. During that time, you'll probably get a lot of dropped frames or something right there. But really, until this number starts turning orange and red, you don't have to worry. If we go look at my actual OBS that I'm using to stream right now, you'll see there I have 41 frames out of, I don't know, 155,000.
Dalsy says, well, bitch.
That are dropped. Hey, what's up, Dalsy? So yeah, so just pay attention to those stats. That's okay. A few dropped frames is fine. Don't get super picky about it. As long as this number will start to turn orange and red as it gets bad. So you'll know when you have a problem. OBS is not shy about telling you have a problem. But just keep that in mind, and I'll just repeat one more time. This area is GPU. Okay, so I'm gonna put this right here. GPU, CPU issues, and then we'll come down here, and this area is, go ahead and screenshot this if you like, whatever. This area is network, so bit rate. Okay, that's what those stats all mean. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to know exactly what everything is down here. I don't even really pay attention to anything besides the dropped frames area. And up here as well, I don't really pay attention to a lot. Disk space, I never care about. Memory, I don't care about because I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, which I can't possibly fill up even if I try. So I don't usually worry about this kind of stuff. Another thing to do, open Task Manager, and you can sort these by CPU and GPU. and you can see what's using the most. Now, spikes to 100 are fine. Don't worry about the spikes. It'll go red for a second as they spike, but then they drop back down. So as long as it's consistent red that you're worried about. If you're topping out the GPU at 100 like that, but it's staying that way, or same with CPU, that means you're pushing it to the max. It's trying to keep up. That's when you're dropping frames. That's when your games are lagging, that kind of stuff. So just keep this open if you want to. There's an option here, always on top, and you can just stick this in the corner and open your game or whatever you're doing, and it will sit over the top of everything. I don't think that works if the game is full screen, so keep that in mind. When a game is in full screen, it takes over your GPU, which means that the GPU is only rendering the game. And that's why when you Alt-Tab out of a game in full screen, it kind of flickers and stuff as it tries to resurrect the desktop rendering. Most computers these days and most games are just fine with windowed full screen. That means it's still rendering the desktop and all the Windows stuff behind the game, and Alt-Tabbing is really fast and easy. Only use full screen if you're on a really low-end machine and you're struggling and you're just desperate to find something to save some PC resources. Then try it full screen in a game for that. But otherwise, windowed full screen should be fine. But yeah, if you're in full screen, this thing won't stick over the top, I don't think, because it will only render the game. Okay, so that's for bitrate. Just start off at 2500 and keep going up. If you have to stream it lower than 2500 to stop dropping network packets, I don't know what to tell you. Get better internet at that point. Maybe upgrade your Wi-Fi router. There's all sorts of resources you can see out there to diagnose your network. Okay, so that's it for those settings. This is just simple. I don't touch the audio bit rate. I don't usually touch the encoder. The default's fine. It defaulted to the NVIDIA encoder that comes with my GPU's driver. You may not have that if you don't have an NVIDIA card. If you have something else, it might be something else in there, or software 264 is just fine as well. I always change this to advanced though. Okay, so I want to be able to set my quality settings for streaming and recording separately, whereas simple does, I guess you can kind of set some stuff here. It just tries to simplify the settings. If you don't want to mess with it, then just mess with the bitrate, and then you can change some quality presets down here for your recordings, and that's totally fine. And before we get to the advanced part, I will say one quick thing on recording format. You'll come in here and you'll be like, why do I want all these? Of course I want MP4 because that's the one that plays and uploads to YouTube easily, and I can edit it in my video editing software. But the reason why MKV is the default, and FLV and MKV are very, very similar. I don't really have anything to say on MOV, TS, or M3U8. I don't know much about those encodings. But MKV it streams all your video data into a file that doesn't have to have what's it called? It doesn't have to write like a closing section of the file in order for the file to work. Which means if your power goes out, your computer shuts off, and you're in the middle of an hour-long recording, you can resurrect that recording easily. The MKV file doesn't need to be like closed out in order for it won't get corrupted, basically, if it stops being written to all of a sudden. MP4 will. So if it even tells you, it warns you right here that if you are recording and you're 30 minutes into an hour-long recording or whatever and your power goes out, you're screwed. You cannot save that file. So I recommend leaving it on MKV, and one of the things you can do in regular OBS, for some reason you can't do this in Streamlabs OBS, I don't know why, but go to File, go to Remux Recordings, and you can go in here and you can find all your MKV files. So here's some clips I've taken, and you can select them all, for example, and you can remux them, and look how fast it turns them into MP4s. And I still have the MKV files, so in case, even if something happened during this process...
Teach me, Daddy.
If something happened during this process...
DeLorean says amazing.
In like the MP4 is all effed up, but I still have the MKV working fine, then I can just do this again. So as long as you have the MKV, you're good. You're golden. One thing I do recommend as well for video players on your computer, VLC Media Player. I think most people are aware of that. It's kind of even gotten into the common usage. I've noticed just average computer users still installing VLC, but if you've never heard of it, install it, it plays everything. It'll play the MKV files, it'll play the FLV files, MP4s, it'll play everything. So if you're just wanting to use, like, preview your files and be like, I want to, know what you want to remux into an MP4 or whatever, just use VLC. A lot of programs won't play the MKVs and FLVs and stuff like that. So VLC does everything, and it's nice. Just Google for VLC for Windows, and you'll find it. There is one on the Windows Store. I don't recommend that one. Get the one from the website and install that separately. Okay, output. Let's go over here. Let's go to Advanced now. So on Advanced, there's not a ton I do here, except for one thing I will tell you guys about Twitch. When you stream to Twitch, stream in 1080p. I think most of you are probably already doing that anyway, but if you stream in 1440p or higher, the Xbox Twitch app will crash when people try to load your stream. It crashes all the way to the Xbox dashboard. I've tested this on every Xbox. The Xbox Series X, the Series S, the Xbox Ones, they all crash if you try to load a stream that's higher than 1080p. And I've opened support tickets with Twitch. I don't get a response. So I don't know that they give a crap, and most people stream in 1080p anyway. But it's kind of nice. I can stream in 1440p, and so I want to, and so I was doing it, and yeah, people can't view my stream if they're on Xbox. If you don't care about Xbox, or if you're a multi-streamer like me, then maybe you just want to stream 1440p to all the platforms, and you don't care that you're missing just one segment of the Twitch audience on Xbox. So that's up to you. But you can do this. I stream to so when I was streaming just to Twitch, I was recording in 1440p, but I was rescaling the output here. That's one option that you have here in regular OBS. I didn't see it in Streamlabs. Maybe I just missed it. But here I'll choose my NVEC encoder. So, but the X264, that's just software. That's just your computer's software doing the encoding for the video. If you have a hardware encoder, choose it. When I went to Advanced, for some reason it didn't default to it, but it did in Simple, so I don't know. But NVIDIA has an encoder in here, and so I'm using that. There's a lot of technical details on how encoders work, but just know that there's a difference between if you're using a hardware encoder, it's faster, it's better, it's more efficient, and you're going to use fewer of your PC's resources. If you do the software one, it's going to tie up your CPU a lot. Okay. All right. So I was streaming to Twitch, and then I was just rescaling the output to 1080p. And then we'll get to the video tab in a sec, but then I still had this set to 1440p. And then on the recording tab, it was still my default resolution, and then this rescales it for Twitch. So that's kind of a nice option if you need to do that. Hopefully they fix that in the future, but yeah. So I'm gonna put 6,000 in here. I'm gonna say, if I'm pretending that I'm just streaming to Twitch, then I'm gonna rescale the output. Keyframe interval, 0 is auto. That's usually fine. Twitch is 2. So if you need to set that for some reason, put 2 in there. I'm not going to go into the details about what keyframes are. I've already taken too long on the settings alone. So sorry about that. Streamlabs isn't complicated though, so when we get there, it'll go pretty fast. Hopefully you guys will be able to just see that, oh, it's pretty straightforward. All right, so... Okay. Sorry?
You said Streamlabs.
I meant Stream
I don't
Elements.
think you meant to.
Sorry, Stream Elements.
No, you're good.
Yeah, they're so similar names. I screw them up all the time. So for my GPU in here, I'm going to come in here and do look ahead. Now, I wanted to do the advanced settings because I really wanted to show you guys this GPU thing here that no one ever uses or knows about because it's a very edge case situation, but I'm in that situation.
Says, stop stealing my Thunder Chev. Lol.
Wait, why am I stealing your thunder?
You're from Streamlabs.
Oh, gotcha. That's right. That's right. I forgot you were doing the Streamlabs one. So for this GPU thing, I have 2 GPUs on my computer. If I come to my device manager, and you'll see I have, let's see, where are they? I am blind because I'm live. That's why I can't find it. There it is. Okay. So I have an RTX 3080, and that's my main one. That's the one my monitor's plugged into and all that good stuff.
Emberstone says, ooh, look at me. I have 2 CPUs.
GPUs. GPUs, graphics cards. I only have 1 CPU. But anyway, so I built this computer, and I have a lot of RAM, and I have this nice card and all this stuff. But yet, when I'm running OBS at max settings and a game at max settings, and then I tried to run things like animes
That's
to
the
do the
joke
Chevbot
XD.
avatar. I was still maxing out my GPU. I was surprised, but I was still maxing out the GPU. If you have an old shitty card laying around, you can plug it into your second slot in the computer there, and you can use it for things like just doing the video encoding in OBS, which is super cool. So I went ahead and took my old 980, which is useless for gaming these days. I mean, not useless, but it's getting pretty old now. And I plugged that in, and the default one is always 0, so that would be the 3080. Just change this to 1, and now it's using the 980. If you come out to Task Manager here, you'll actually notice I'm streaming right now. OBS Studio GPU engine, it's using GPU 1. And if you go over to the Performance tab over here, it takes a minute to load. But if you come down to GPU, you can see the load on both the GPUs. And I'm actually right now not playing. Normally this one's the highest because I'm playing a game, but right now the thing I'm using the most of is OBS. So my 980 card is
Meant to breeze says spare graphic cards in
42%.
this economy? Sir, check your privilege me and one boba.
Well, but if you ever upgrade to a nice card and manage to get your hands on one, don't throw away your old one or just give it away right away, because you might find out that you could use it for something like this. So that's my situation. I had this old card and I actually just shoved it in the closet, and then I realized that there was this setting here, and I was like, I wonder if I could do that, and it totally worked, and it was awesome. So now I can do all sorts of things on my PC without maxing out my primary GPU or the secondary GPU. It's a nice even split. B frames, don't worry about it. It's 1 through 4. 2 is a default, and it's fine. If you have a nice computer, you can up that to 4. You can also tick all these boxes if they're unticked, but just leave the defaults here alone. That's totally fine. For most people, that's what you're going to want to do. If you have a nice machine, then you can go ahead and turn on all these different things here, and you can up this up to 4. It does make a little bit of a difference, but it's not huge, so don't worry about it too much. Then on the recording tab, you can come over here and you can do the same thing. I record to MKV, and then so right here it defaults to using your stream encoder, but you can totally set it differently, and then you get all those same settings back again. And same thing, I use the second GPU here as well, for recording and for streaming. So you'll notice actually over on my other one, I'm doing 3 things here. I'm streaming, I'm recording, and I have a virtual camera, which is what you guys are seeing in OBS. And so then I can actually select my camera, or not, excuse me, in Discord, not OBS. Tongue-tied, sorry. There we go. You can see an OBS virtual camera. It just shows up as a video camera device. So just pick that and make sure it's turned on in OBS, and you can broadcast whatever OBS sees to any program that uses a video camera. It's kind of cool. Okay, that's it for output pretty much for the streaming and recording. There's not much else to play around with in here. The audio tab I pretty much leave alone. I don't ever mess with that. Enable replay buffer. So this is my favorite thing, and I always put it up to 60. It's kind of a pain because minute-long clips are hard to scrub through, but there's so many times when I take a clip in a game, and I forget to take a clip, and then I think about it like 20 seconds later, and I can take the clip, and because I have it set to a full minute, it still captures whatever it was I was wishing I had clipped. So I set it to 60 seconds. You can set it to 30, 45. The default's 20, whatever you're comfortable with. But once you set it, you'll notice a new button appears out here. This replay buffer one. I'm going to go ahead and delete those now. Let's get the pencil back. Right here, this replay buffer. That is basically, if you've ever used an Xbox, or I think PlayStation does it too, I think actually even the Switch does it, where you can just hit a button and it'll take the last 30 seconds as a recording, as a clip. That's what this does. So as long as replay buffer is active, and I'm not sure, I don't think it's going to shit itself if I turn that on. So let's just turn it on. It looks like you haven't added any video sources yet.
Dalsy says, hey teacher, can I get an easy A? I'll do anything.
Okay, I guess since I have another OBS open and I'm running it, it's not going to let me do it in there. But over here you can see it's running, and you can see right here in the corner this little arrow button. That's where I take a clip. But the other thing you can do is you can go into settings, and I'll just show you the settings on this one where I have it set up already. In hotkeys, if you scroll down, it's got its own section, so it's easy to spot. It's kind of separate from the rest of them. But replay buffer,
Meant
save
to breathe
replay.
says at Dolzy OK. Study me ant one silly.
I have this set to Alt F10, and then I have Alt F10 mapped on my mouse. So I have a button on my mouse. I can
Ember
just hit that.
Stone says
and I
at
take a clip.
Dalsy teacher's pet.
Let's see. So videos. So all my clips go right into this videos folder. I think that's the default setting. Output, recording. Yeah, you can choose where the videos go right there. So it goes right into my videos directory. And then I have all these different clips that are just here from when I've been playing games, mostly Halo right now, obviously. And then I sort through these and separate them, and I'll put them in all sorts of different categories. Like I'm compiling a little montage of fusion core kills in Halo right now. So every time I get one of those, I hit the button, and then I come over here and I drag it into here, and you can see opens up in VLC. And then I throw the fusion core and blow them up. But I think those kills are fun, so I thought it'd be fun to make like a compilation of just killing people over and over with fusion cores. So, one of the things you can do with the clips, it's a really nice feature. Let's go quickly down the list a little further. Audio. I tend to leave this alone. However, I notice a lot of people, they add, so when they want their microphone in a scene, they'll come down here. Let's see. It's like cut off on the left side here for some reason. That's weird. Anyway, so here's my scene down here. I'm going to close these little windows because I don't need those. And then I'm going to add a source to the scene. And so this is where you add all your stuff to the different scenes that you want. I think most of you know how that works for the most part. And maybe we'll do another tutorial on that someday. But audio input capture lets you go select a microphone. And I have a complicated audio setup, so I have a lot of audio devices on this machine. But that's my main microphone, so I can select it. And woohoo, I have a microphone. But if I add another scene here, scene 2, my microphone's gone. So I now have to go back to audio input and add a microphone. Okay, what you can do instead is you can come over here to audio in the settings, and you can just select your microphone one single time. And now you have a microphone. Now, I've just barely put myself in a situation that I've noticed so many streamers get into and have no idea what is going on. Their stream says you're echoing, you sound like a robot, like there's something weird going on with your microphone, and they just can't figure it out. Look at the audio mixer right here. Notice when I talk, there's 2 audio meters that are going up and down. That's because I added a source and I set it in settings. One or the other. Just one or the other. So go into settings and undo that, or delete the audio input capture from your scene. And then you'll just have one microphone right there. That is a very common problem. I see it all the time. I fell victim to it at first, and then I realized what was happening. And then I've noticed it everywhere, all sorts of places. I'll pick like a random streamer to raid sometimes. And sure enough, I go in there and they're doubled up. And every time I'm like, I think you have an audio input capture and the settings. And they're like, what? I don't understand. And they start messing around with stuff. But it's that simple.
Dalsy says I got an A+ in sex ed wink wink. I'm sorry, it's hilarious to make you laugh. I love you.
Thanks, Harley. All right. What next? So there's audio. So you can set your microphone in there. I recommend that. If you want to
Ember
have
Stone says I got a D+ in sex ed.
If you want to have no microphone audio in certain scenes, then that might be why you want to put the microphone only in the scenes you're interested in. So up to you. It does mean you have to be extra aware of what scene you're on and what, whether your microphone's in there and added it or not.
Just got the dad look from Chev. I win.
I don't like to deal with it. So I set it up in settings personally. Video. Okay. This is your canvas. So this is the resolution of your canvas, and this is the output. I tend to always keep them the same. But if you want to stream in 720p because it's just like you need to stream in a lower resolution for OBS to not max out your GPU or something like that. Or let's say you want to stream, your screen's 1440p, but you want to stream in 1080p, then you can use this scale. If you use the scale, it makes it a little better. So if I set this to 1440p, which it doesn't have a preset, but 1440p is 2560 by 1440, and it's a 6, so that's a 16:9 aspect ratio. And then you can select this down to 1920 by 1080. Okay, so same aspect ratio. This one's 1440, and then I'm streaming in 1080. This setting applies to everything: recordings, streaming. So this is what, like, I could do this for Twitch, for example, because of the thing where it barfs if I stream in my full resolution to Twitch, the Xbox app crashes. I could do this here, but that rescales it for everything, including the recordings. So that's why I like this individual rescale option, where I can just rescale it for the stream, but then recording I can still have my full resolution. So keep that in mind. I tend to just leave it the same over here because I do the rescaling in the output settings. But yeah, most of you are going to want this at 1920 and 1920. That's it. You're definitely going to want to up this probably to 60 if your computer can handle it, 60 frames, especially if you're streaming games that are 60 frames, because you're like...
Dalsy says Harlick 30 Dalzula.
You stream the game at 60, but then the stream is only going 30, so what's the point? You're using extra GPU resources. I mean, I guess just so the game looks better for yourself, if you want to stream at 30 and play the game at 60, but make sure this matches your game.
Emberstone says, does the bot spam emotes now?
Only for me, because it's reading the Restream API for the multi-chat. So if people talk from Facebook, Twitch, whatever, and they have a whole different set of metadata for the emotes, so I couldn't just copy and paste the code to scrub the emotes.
Oh, okay.
But for the Twitch stuff, it still applies for the Twitch only. But so don't worry about it. And yeah, please don't spam emotes during this recording, because it will read them again. The bicubic, I think, is the default here, but again, you can up this if you have a nice computer. So you want to leave... I pretty much tend to start with defaults, and then I turn them up, and then if I have problems, I turn them back down. I mess with them. And one rule of thumb when you're messing with settings, mess with one at a time. Change one setting, up it, and see how it goes for a while. And then if you're having problems, put that back down, and then see how it goes. Does it fix your problems? If you put a bunch of settings different, and then you start having problems, well, now you don't know which one it was. You don't know what you did that started causing the problems. So just kind of use that to narrow down things. Do things one at a time. Just slowly play with your settings. Start at the default and then move up from there. That's how I always operate with everything.
Me. I spam update things and then break stuff and forget what I did.
Yep, I used to do that. But I've gotten a lot more disciplined. Now, even with Windows settings and stuff now, I'll do a fresh install from Windows, and I'll just change one thing, see how it goes, change it back. I'll even take days sometimes to test a setting, and then I'll think about it again. I'll be like, okay, let's go try something else now, because that way I know what I've been doing. If you need to take notes or something, that can help too. Hotkeys, don't need to go over that. I already went over the replay buffer one. You can set up hotkeys for all sorts of stuff. Let you guys figure that out. Advanced. Okay, so one thing is, if you're a professional streamer, you probably care way more about the stream than you do your game quality or anything else. So set this process priority to high. I think normal is what it is normally, or by default, but set it to high because I think you care more about your stream looking good than some program having all the resources to run at max frames or something like that. So prioritize OBS over other things if you can. I also run OBS in Administrator, which I'll just go ahead and show you that real fast. So OBS, so find it in Windows and right click it. You'll notice I'm on Windows 11, so it's a little bit different than Windows 10. So if you're on Windows 10, it's pretty similar. Just search for it in the start menu and then open file location. It should take you to a little shortcut that the start menu uses for that program. Right click it, go to properties, and then go to compatibility. And on the compatibility setting down here, you can put run this program as administrator. And what that does is now every time I click this, it does that pop-up where it's like administrator permission required, and I have to hit yes. But the nice thing about that, running programs with elevated privileges, means nothing else can really affect it very much. For example, let me close this and minimize this, minimize this. Okay, so this restream overlay here, I have to hold control to interact with it, because in games it has a click-through mode, where if I click right here, it won't move anything. It'll just click Discord. That way in games I can click through it and still have this up on my screen. But I can hold control and drag it around. That used to work when I was in OBS, but it doesn't anymore, because now I run OBS as administrator. So that means it's capturing my keys, and it's not sending those keys off to the Restream app so that it can see that I'm pressing the control key, because this is running it with elevated privileges. It's capturing that control key press, and it's hanging onto it. It's not passing it anywhere else. So that's why some things might not work if you're doing that. Just keep that in mind. It's kind of just taking control over its inputs and stuff like that. So I think if I ran this Restream thing in Administrator 2, then they'd be back to the same elevated privileges and it would work fine. But okay, that's it for settings. We finally got through it all. Hopefully you guys learned something. I don't mess with anything else in here in the Advanced tab. I only mess with the process priority. Let me just make sure I don't mess with anything else in here. I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't mess with anything else in here. Everything else I leave the same. Yep. You can play with some of these if you want to, but do so at your own risk. I've never had to come in here and mess with anything except for process priority. So I know that Streamlabs OBS also has an advanced area with some different stuff. Okay, that's it. You should be good to go if you've got a decent network connection and a computer that can, either run a game and OBS at the same time, or you have a capture card and you're plugging an Xbox in or a PlayStation in or something like that, and you're just capturing that as a video capture. That's fine too, because that's your computer's not having to do a lot of work for that. A little bit of work to read from the capture card, but not nearly as much as running a game or something like that. So to do that, you could just add a video capture device. If you've installed one, it will show up here as a input that you can select. So like there's my Anime's virtual camera. I have this game capture. That's from my Xbox if I want to stream the Xbox. I have my Logitech camera, which won't work right now because my other OBS is hogging it. And also keep that in mind too. I should let you guys know, if you try to use other programs with your webcam, only one program can have control of your webcam at a time. So if you want, come down here to the Chev Cam and open up the source here, you can deactivate. Oh, I just realized because I clicked the scene, you can't see what I'm looking at. Let's do studio mode. I'm going to close a bunch of these. Get them out of the way. Studio mode is awesome, by the way. I'll show it off real quick. It puts a preview of what you're about to send to the stream side by side. So if you hit studio mode down here, it does this. But now I can go to other scenes. You guys still see what's over here, and I can see these other scenes and mess with stuff. There, now you can see this. You can come in here and deactivate the camera. That will release the camera from OBS. So that way you don't have to close OBS, because closing OBS would work too, but you don't have to close it. You can just activate the camera there, and then if I go to like Animes, give it 1 second, it will load. It can use my camera now instead. Oh my gosh, of course. It's normally is faster, but it knows I'm streaming. Okay, there. So now you can see it's doing the anime stuff. And then I can enable this virtual camera, and I can use that virtual camera inside OBS instead. So in order for me to go, if I go try to select or activate this camera now, it's just going to do nothing, because Animes now has control of my camera. So that's something that trips people up a lot of times too. I'm going to close Animes. It's still broken over here. Deactivate, reactivate. Now it's fine. So just keep that in mind. Only one program can have control of your camera at a time. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to this other OBS, and let's go set up some stream elements finally. This has been a long thing. Hopefully you guys aren't bored. Hopefully this has been helpful stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I have just one question. So I stream in a relatively noisy environment. Like my brother is like 6 feet to the left of me. My dog is barking. What's a good way so that my mic doesn't pick up my brother talking? It just picks up me right next to the mic. I know that's a very specific.
So apparently I can't open this program and draw on the screen, or else it goes away. But you can see Crisp right here. This is
Okay.
the same noise canceling that is used in Discord. So if you're in Discord, you'll see right here noise suppression powered by Crisp. Hold on.
Yeah.
I think it's covered up.
Shavra Khan
right
says,
there.
I don't know that I wanna do mine now lol. I have learned so much and still have no clue what is going on lol.
DeLorean says noise gates.
So I have noise suppression powered by Crisp for Discord, but I wanted to use that for things like the Xbox parties. When I join Xbox parties, I can come over here and I can join an Xbox party, but it has no voice or noise suppression, and which is annoying. And so I went to I forget what the website is. Crisp noise suppression. It's crisp.ai. So I did pay for it. There's a free, you can do so many minutes of it for free. It wasn't very expensive. It was like a yearly price of like $20 or something, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember what it was. Could have been more. But yeah, just select your microphone in here and it will create a virtual microphone that you can select in other places. So you'll notice if I go to, let's see. Well, I have a complicated audio setup. You guys are gonna go, what the hell is this when I open it? This is a voice meter app. It's got all my different microphones, but you'll see my mic right here is this Crisp microphone. It shows up as an audio device on your computer. So I select Crisp when I want to use the microphone with the noise suppression on it. Because I have a fan next to me. I have an actual AC unit for when it's in the summer. It gets so hot in this office. So I installed a separate AC unit so I don't have to turn the AC on for the whole house just to cool this office. And that's super loud, but the Crisp noise suppression works great. If you have an RTX card, and I'm not going to open this program, and I'll explain why in a second. If you have an RTX card, NVIDIA card, you can run NVIDIA Broadcast, and the noise suppression feature on that is just awesome. It's so much better than Crisp. It's great, but this app also utilizes your camera and does the AI background removal. So instead of a green screen like I have right now, you can that program will actually take your camera and remove your background for you, and it does a great job of it, but it really hogs your GPU. And just having that program open for some reason causes my GPU to freak out. It will sometimes reset. My monitor will go black. My stream will crash. I don't think it's overheating. I checked the temperatures and stuff. I think it's just a bug. I think it just the driver crashes once in a while, and that's what happens. Is the whole card the driver has to restart, and the whole card has to come back online. Ruins my streams. So I don't use that program anymore. Crisp, you'll notice, has a noise.
DeLorean says, yeah, it's kinda new, and it restarts the entire driver lol.
Yeah, it's a good program when it's working. But right now I went back to Crisp because of that. The one thing that sucks about Crisp is I'm going to be a little loud for a second, so sorry about that. But watch this meter over here. It doesn't even go to the red. Hello! See how it stopped right there? And you guys probably heard a crackle. So Crisp is I could not get rid of that. No matter what I do, the settings for Crisp, I cannot take out that noise ceiling. I don't know why. So I've tried unticking this, reticking this, echo cancellation. Nothing gets rid of that. So
I heard someone in chat say something about noise gates in OBS. And
yeah,
but the problem is, I don't know how to set that up. I don't know what parameters would be good for that.
I actually don't know myself. Let's try adding the microphone input, because I'm guessing it's going to be in filters here. So filters, noise gate. There you go, right there, noise gate filter. So this, you can do this. I wanted the noise suppression for everything, for Xbox parties, for in-game chat, for everything, not just my stream. So this was not good enough for me, so that's why I have not messed with it. Because I want a program where just my mic has noise suppression on it no matter where I use it. So that's why I use Crisp. But yeah, okay. Looks like you can just do these noise gates in here. I don't know a ton about what these thresholds are. So
I'm sure I can Google a YouTube video.
I'm sure you can figure these out. There's a lot of stuff in here
DeLorean says exactly. It just allows you to set the lower threshold.
Okay. Awesome. So you can raise that threshold, I'm guessing, to eliminate some of that noise. So that's what you guys want to use. And I assume that means you have to use this audio input source, though, because I don't think you can apply filters to the audio that you've set up here in global audio devices. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, I don't see any way to do that. So if you want to use that, make sure you've unset this in settings. Otherwise, you'll double up your audio, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, we don't want to hear two of me at once. That's probably not ideal.
No. Okay.
I have one more question, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Or,
yeah, no, that's fine.
Not to hold you in place or anything.
No, you're good.
Is there a way for me to do virtual backgrounds or like green screen myself without having an actual physical green screen?
Oh, well, so you'll want to use that NVIDIA Broadcast app if you can, because that's the best that I've used so far. There's another one, XSplit virtual camera. I think that's what it is. XSplit VCam, that's the one. This one works no matter what your graphics card you have. It just isn't as optimized, but keep in mind, any program you use to do this is going to hog GPU resources. So only do this if you have a great rig that can handle OBS, a game, and your background removal. So that's just don't use that if you're tight on resources. But if you're not, then go ahead and install something like that. And I did used to use this for a while, and it worked great. If you can, though, in OBS, let's see, I gotta go back to studio mode so it doesn't turn that off for you guys. I can come in here and go to filters on my webcam, and I can turn off the chroma key, and you'll see I have a green screen behind me. This green screen, I don't want to mess with it right now, but basically there's just a handle up there that I can just pull down, and this thing retracts all the way down into just a little thing on the floor. That's it. It was like, I want to say it was almost $200, but it was worth it. So if you can save up for something like that, it's nice. This one's also pretty big too. You can get smaller ones.
Like a green screen thing that you could hook onto the back of your chair.
Oh yeah, so maybe try something like that. Do keep in mind that the sheets, do not get the green screen sheets. They crease. They're not really like the chromatic color that they need to be. They absorb light too much and in the wrong places, and the shadows are hard to get rid of. I tried a sheet and it was awful. So definitely get like a proper green screen that just retracts into a little carriage that it has at the bottom. That's really nice. And then to set up a green screen filter, since we're already here, you just choose the color you want to filter out, and then you adjust the similarity. So I'll drop the similarity all the way down, turn the filter back on, and then you can kind of watch as I filter out the background. And then you'll notice that you can see the edges of the green screen here and here, but I've cropped those out for what you guys see. So you kind of have to adjust it, because if you do too much, it'll cut you off. If you back off, you'll see little like particles everywhere. So you have to get the green screen lit properly so that it's even. You'll notice if you look at that, it's pretty evenly lit. All you see is a little shadow right here that I sometimes struggle with, but I have little individual lights around. Like this guy. This big, it's just a little LED light tower thing. And they're really good for lighting up the screen like that.
Alright, that's good to know. I was curious about that.
I want to show you guys one thing real fast that I just discovered recently. So let's go to video capture. Sure, we'll just use the Animaze camera. That's fine, even though it's dead. Okay, so to crop things, you have to come in and add a crop filter, right? And then you have to come in here and you have to turn up these numbers like this to crop from the left. So I can jump this up to 500, whatever, to crop from the left.
I found still crop without a green screen.
Yeah, cropping is just cropping the element here in OBS.
Okay.
But I found out the coolest thing that I didn't know existed. Hold the Alt key and drag. That's all you have to do. And you can crop things just by holding Alt. And to undo it, just right-click it, go to Transform, and reset the transform, and you can get rid of all of it. But you can see the crops by the green line. It shows you that you've cropped it, because it's got a green line instead of a red line. I had no idea you could do that, and it's amazing. So definitely check
DeLorean
that out.
says PogChamp.
Okay. Any more questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so let's move on to Streamlabs. I want to try and get through this if we can in the next half hour. I was thinking this whole thing would be a half an hour, but I always underestimate that kind of stuff. It's going to be an hour and a half at least. So buckle in. Let's do Streamlabs now. It's not very complicated. Actually, not Streamlabs, sorry. Stream Elements. StreamElements.com, not Streamlabs. I apologize for making it easy to confuse the two. But yeah, so StreamElements.com. Go there, create your account, do all that stuff, tie it to your Twitch account, whatever you got to do. And then we'll get that set up. I actually think Streamlabs is harder to set up. Even though they have the program integrated with their service and everything, it's still kind of a cluster and it's a little difficult. Their UI is not super intuitive. Stream Elements is much more intuitive, even though it still has problems in my opinion, but it's still much more intuitive. So create your account, get logged in and everything. I think it actually has a little like wizard that it walks you through for selecting your first overlays. Obviously I have an account already, so I'm not going to get to that, but I'm going to just go in here the way you do it normally after you've done the initial setup. Oh sweet, there's a Halo one in there. I have to check that out. This is the gallery, and it's growing. It's pretty small right now. If you end up spending a few hours looking for overlays, you'll realize that you quickly run out of them. And you're like, oh, there's not that many. So one thing Streamlabs right now has over Stream Elements is they have way more stream overlays and alert box things to set up. But I think Stream Elements has a better system for it, and they don't require you to download a custom OBS or anything like that. You just drop in. I mean, technically, Streamlabs doesn't require you to use Streamlabs OBS either. You can go to Streamlabs.com and do the same stuff that Stream Elements offers for the most part, but you have to add in a lot of browser sources. So one thing you can do in OBS, I'm going to show you this real quick because it's going to matter for Stream Elements, is when you're adding a source, one of the sources you're going to get familiar with is browser. And I'll just keep it called browser for now, but this lets you put in a URL. So I can put in even my own website in here, and you'll see that it shows up. Oh, and it's going to pull in the audio, so let me take that off. And it's going to pull in the audio, so let me take that off. And it's going to pull in the audio. I guess I can just mute it for now. My site automatically starts showing my stream, so sorry about the reverb. It should stop in a second. Oh no, that's not muted. Wait, what's going on? Oh no, that's not muted. All right, I'm just going to remove it. Sorry.
Dalsy says reverb.
I got rid of it, but okay. So there's the browser source, and you can add any web page in there, and that's all that Streamlabs used to make you do this as well. But then they went, never mind, we'll just make our own program, and then they put all the Streamlabs stuff right here. Too dank.
Shavra Khan says BREVER.
So the big difference between Stream Elements and Streamlabs when it comes to the browser sources, though, is you only need one browser source, and I'll show you why. So pick your overlay theme, whatever, and hit create, blah blah blah. You'll get to this point where you have a bunch of these overlays set up. So these are the ones I have. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the live one, for example, and hit edit. And you'll see you're presented with this workspace, and there's a bunch of elements on it, all these different elements. And I'm going to go over a lot of these here in a second, but this is why Stream Elements is better than Streamlabs, in my opinion, is it gives you this workspace to mess with stuff. Now, by default, this workspace is 1080p, just FYI. Scaling it up to 1440p is actually fine. I've done this, so if you look at mine, let's get rid of studio mode. You'll see I'm actually, if you look at my settings, I am running in 1440p right now, and I'm using the browser source for the live. Where did it go? Live overlay right there. If I turn this off, you'll see the Stream Element stuff goes away. But if I hit transform and go to reset, you'll notice it's not actually that big. That's because it's 1080p and I'm at 1440p. I went to transform and I hit fit to screen. Excuse me. And then that stretched it out. I don't see a problem with it. I don't see any degradation of the graphics or anything. So, excuse me. There we go. My throat's a little dry. So I prefer to just stretch it to the 1440p. You can resize this workspace, but when you do, those graphics will also reposition into the corner because they're in 1080p like relative to each other, and so then you'll have to go reposition everything in this workspace to make it truly 1440p. I recommend not messing with that. I think most of you are going to do 1080p anyway. But if you do 1440p, I just recommend just stretching it in OBS. I think it works better. Ooh, Lord, sorry. Apparently my throat decided to die. Okay, so when I'm going to go through all the stuff in here and we'll get into the workspace, but before we do that, oh yeah, you can actually copy overlay URL and save. So I'm going to go copy that. So I hit this little link up here. For those who can't see, right there, that little link. I'm going to hit that to copy my URL for this browser source, and then I'm going to hit save in case I made any changes in here. They don't show up unless you hit save. And then in this browser source, I'm going to plug that into the URL box right there. And then because I know my canvas is 1080p, I think we did on this, 1920 by 1080, I'm just going to make it be the right size already. I could have just stretched it, I think, and it would have been fine, but actually, I'm not sure if you can. Let's do this. Let's 800 by 600. Okay, yeah. So, and I don't think stretching it's going to help because it's going to just stretch it like that. See? Okay. Yeah, so that's not going to work. So don't do, you make sure you put the actual resolution in here, 1920 by 1080. Because that's the size of the viewport for the browser window, if that makes sense. And we already know that Stream Elements by default gives you a layout that's 1080p, 1920 by 1080. So let's make the browser source match that directly. And then, you notice it's bigger now because I actually stretched it. So if I go to transform and hit reset, it'll fit perfectly. But now you can stretch that window as much as you want. So technically within the window, it's still 1920 by 1080. It's showing that much of the web page.
Dalsy says I can do all this, yay me.
Awesome. You can, it's showing you that much of the web page within that viewport, even though I've resized it so it's no longer actually that size on my screen. So that's a little bit of a nuance to keep in mind. Just make sure that in the settings here, 1920 by 1080, if you're using the Stream Elements default, if you end up changing the layout resolution in the Stream Elements workspace, then you will need to change that here as well. So to keep it easy, just leave it 1920 by 1080. That is just the best way to go. All those overlays are 1920 by 1080 by default. So I don't think you can change the size of this inside the workspace. Actually, I think I had to come out here and go to properties. Yeah, right there. You can change the resolution of the workspace right here, which you can do. Actually, can I duplicate this? Oh, I can't. Sweet. Okay, so I duplicated my starting soon. And then I'm going to go... Oh, wait. I didn't mean to duplicate starting soon. Let me duplicate live. Hold on. I thought I did the live. That's weird. Copy of live. Okay. If we go edit this one... Oh, I didn't change the setting. Hold on. Properties. Let's change this to 1440p. Submit. Now edit. There we go. Okay, so... Wait, did that actually work? Hold on, let's try this. Let's copy the URL, we'll save it, and let's go into our OBS here and plug it into the browser. If it's indeed 1440p, it's going to get cut off. Okay, it's not. So we have 1920 by 1080. But if I make this 1440p, it's going to shrink 1440. Yeah. So now if I size this so that it fits my display properly, so transform. Oh, that's right. This, for our example, our OBS is set to a 1080p background, but just let's pretend it's not. This is what happens. And so now I would need to go in here, and then I think zoom out. Yeah, zoom out. There you go. Now you can see the 1440p workspace, and then I would have to reposition all this stuff, and then oops, now I have to reposition all this, and boy, is it become a nightmare really quickly. This isn't what I went through, so I just wanted to show you guys. It seems simple, and then you get in there and you try to do it, and now I've got to move all the individual elements. They do not, as far as I know, have an easy way to select all the elements. I think you can select individual elements holding shift and then drag them like that. So what you'd really have to do is, come on, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. There we go. So I'd have to select this. Come on. Control Z, Control Z. Lordy. What is going on? Their Control Z is kind of broken too. Well, whatever. Anyway, you have to select this here. You have to hold shift and select each one of these elements in order to drag them all together. It just becomes a pain. Honestly, just don't move things around if you can help it. That's one of the things this workspace really has a problem with. So I have a few complaints. That's definitely one of them. I recommend just don't even bother trying to make resized versions of these. Just delete it. Go back to the default. Edit this live one. Copy that URL instead. Plug that back in here. 1920 by 1080. And then transform to fit the display. There we go. Much better. And then that way you don't have to move a bunch of stuff around. Moving little things here and there is not a huge deal, but trying to move a whole bunch of stuff at once is just a nightmare. The other thing is this has a camera frame on it. And so another complaint I have about this tool, actually I'm just going to close Epic Pen for now, is figuring out which layers here you have selected. It turns out that when you select something, it has a little very faint blue highlight around the layer you have selected. And that is the only way to know that that layer is what you have selected in the workspace. You can go the other direction and click some of these things. Like if I click, what else is there here? I'll click the name bar. There you go. You can see the thin blue outline around the name bar there because I selected it. So it doesn't really make it super obvious what you've selected in the workspace versus what you've selected on the left here. So just pay attention to that. If I click this webcam frame, I have to, if it's scrolled out of view too, you won't see it. So I'll click something else and I'll click webcam frame and you'll see I don't see any blue. I have to scroll down. And then also you see blue if you hover, so that can confuse you. But I scrolled down there, I found it. Okay, and then I can turn this back on. I turned it off because I wanted in my OBS to, let me turn off my main camera here and show you. I made this little grouping. You can see webcam box right here. I made this little grouping and I actually imported the asset for their webcam frame into here so that you can see it. And then I wanted to put my webcam background and my camera into this little grouping here. Let's see, webcam frame. Yeah, so that's the frame asset, and then I put the camera with background scene, this scene here. I put that scene inside here, and then I have this little grouping. And now I can just select the grouping and move this wherever I want it. Whereas before, since this frame was part of the stream elements, here I'll save, and then we'll refresh it over here. Oh, it refreshed itself. You can see the frame is built in, and I can't move that frame. I have to go to Stream Elements to move that frame. So that's one of the downsides. Whereas Streamlabs, everything is a source. Every single thing you add into Streamlabs is a source in OBS that you can select and move around. Stream Elements is an overlay that you have to edit outside of OBS and then import it in. But I don't have to move a lot of stuff around. I only have to move my webcam around. So I just actually came in here and I found that graphic by doing inspect. So I right-clicked it, I hit inspect. And then I'm a programmer, a web developer, so I know what I'm looking at. But if you poke around in here in the Chrome DevTools, you'll see an image tag, img, and then there's a source with a URL in it. You'll notice when you hover that, you see that asset. If you right-click that and do open in new tab, you'll get the graphic. So I got that graphic, and then I believe by default it's transparent. That Chrome is just adding a white background because it decided to. And then I imported that graphic into OBS as an image source right here. Yeah, in the webcam box, webcam frame. Yeah, so that's all I did. Because now I can move that around wherever I want without having to constantly go back to Stream Elements. So you can, if you can follow those instructions to get those assets out of there, it's pretty easy. It just might boggle your mind if you've never seen this stuff before when you hit right-click inspect. But I just turn that off in this overlay because I don't use the one from the overlay. But everything else I do. And the cool part about everything else here is it integrates with the Twitch API and stuff. So let's zoom out a little bit. You can see recent donation. I didn't touch any of this stuff. The only things I touched were the names of my social media accounts. Everything else just worked because I authenticated with Twitch, with Stream Elements, and then I came in and created an overlay, and then automatically this new follower thing that was part of this overlay already by default, and new subscriber, top donation, recent donation, all that stuff just came in automatically, which was super cool. I really like that. Now, the other cool thing I want to show you before we get into this, though, is if you come over to your account and you go to, is it here? Channel settings? I think this is, okay, yeah. So you can come down here and you can add channels. I'm not sure why it's not scrolling. There we go. You can add a Facebook channel, a Twitch channel, a YouTube channel. So if you're like me and you do multi-streaming, connect all these accounts, and then those will also be integrated when you get into this overlay. So you'll notice when I created a new overlay over here, when I duplicated that one, it gave me these. It's because I've connected these accounts to my Stream Elements account, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. So I'm saying, yeah, use all those. And then any of those sources in there, I think by default, let's actually just do a new one. Let's go find the gallery and create, let's check out this Halo one. I want to check it out. So create my overlay. And then these are all the links. It's fine. I'm not going to actually import them into OBS right now. So there, it dropped in a whole bunch of these already. So let's check out the live one. And because I have all my accounts connected, I believe... Oh, well, this one doesn't have a bunch of Facebook stuff. Let's see. All right. Well, bad example, I guess. Anyway, I think I can show you what it did for Twitch on my live one, because I only had Twitch connected at the time I created this originally. So I manually went in and added my names for Facebook and YouTube. I manually added Chevcast here. If I click it and I scroll down here to settings, you'll see I actually put Chevcast in there. But if we click the Twitch one, I think this top middle one is the Twitch one. There we go. Bracket streamer bracket. It's some sort of variable that it filled in automatically. So even though the text says Chevcast, what the actual text is this placeholder. And I'm assuming if I duplicate, let's just duplicate that live one because I know that worked. Duplicate. And let's select all of these. Oh, it's going to use the account, but I think because I overrode them, it might not. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Duplicate, copy of live. Okay. Let's go see if the Facebook thing, for example, did anything different. I'm afraid it might not actually show. Yeah, because I put text in there. But I think it would have put a placeholder in there for the Facebook page name and filled that in for me, is what would have happened. So sorry, I'm in a little bit of a situation where it's not really showing me what... If I was creating a new one of those... I think it would have auto-populated those by default. So anyway, I'll mess with those later. I don't want to go through and delete them all right now. But yeah, so that's how that's pretty much everything for creating the overlays. These are just browser sources that you can add to OBS, each one of these. If you come into my other OBS here and we go to Be Right Back, well, let me turn on studio mode, and we go to Be Right Back, you can see Be Right Back literally has no sources in it except for this overlay. And because my microphone is set up in settings, I don't even have to have a microphone input in there. It's just entirely this overlay. That's the whole thing. There's nothing else to do. It's just a Be Right Back thing. My starting soon is mostly just an overlay. If I take that away, all that's left is this caption that I sometimes show. If I'm just going to stream something specific, I'll bring this caption in, size it, place it where I want, whatever. And then I have this logo, which is also a browser source. I created my own browser source because I develop websites. I just went in there and I did the same CSS animations I did for my homepage, except for I did it on a blank background. And then in here, in the custom CSS, you set the background to this RGBA, and then all the colors are 000. Those don't matter. Like, you can set these numbers to anything you wanted, and it wouldn't matter because the last number is the opacity, which is set to 0, making the background of the HTML document transparent. So I think this CSS is in here by default, so you don't have to worry about it. Like if we go to the, yeah, this CSS is in there by default. So even for the Stream Elements browser source, it automatically tries to make the background transparent for you. So that's cool. In Stream Elements though, it's it's got a background image, so that didn't really do anything. But if you do have just a plain background color on a web page, then by default, Streamlabs will strip it out and make it transparent, which is cool because now if I show things underneath it, the background is transparent, and we didn't have to chroma key it out or anything, which would be messy, like green screen style, like what we did for the green screen. Instead, the CSS just sets the background of that web page to transparent, and there you go. And then you can put that web page browser source over the top of things. So I made a little animation for that, so it's kind of cool. And then the same thing with like my just talking, for example. That's just a video in the background there, and then that browser source over the top of it. It just kind of rocks back and forth, does my little neon sign animation stuff from CSS. So pretty neat, but that's how easy it is. Just create a scene that you want, and then add that browser source in there. You can add other things on top of it if you want to, or you can just leave it by default. Obviously, on ones like your live one, you're going to want to add in... Oh, I forgot to put this back the way I had it. Obviously, on your live one, you're going to want to stick your webcam in the... if there's a designated box, you're going to want to stick your webcam in that box, like how mine had one, or customize it like I did. Let's see, where's that white spot coming from? I have to turn down one of these lights. It's gotten darker in here. There we go. Okay. I think that's pretty much it for Stream Elements other than going through the workspace. So let's just go do that then. Let's leave this one. Let's actually just close all these so I make sure I'm in the right one. And we'll go back in. We'll go to my live one. Actually, you know what? Let's create a new one. Let's just create a new empty one. 1080p. Okay, so from an empty workspace, this makes it a little easier to see what's going on here. Add widget. There's tons of widgets. And because, like I said, you already integrated with Twitch by signing in with Twitch, you can already add an alert box, for example. So if we come in here, and then emulate's really cool. I really like this. So here's the alert box. Come down to emulate, and then trigger a follower.
Kalinda is now following.
Trigger a subscriber event. 1 subscriber. Some of these are kind of broken.
Biddy just resubscribed for 18 months. Born too late to explore the Earth. Born too early to explore the universe. Born perfectly to explore dank memes.
Talk to me, Daddy Trump.
Grin just subscribe. Do not fear a man that spams 1,000 memes. Instead fear a man that
accidentally hit the button a bunch, and I didn't realize I was
memes.
queuing up a ton of them. But anyway, so you can test all those things right here inside the workspace, which is pretty cool. All right, let's see. So you can come in here and customize all the different alerts. So if you want to customize like the follower alert, there's tons of settings in here. Set the image, change the video, volume control. You can upload custom sounds. You can change all these layout settings. You can set text-to-speech settings. Really nice stuff in here. I like all the stuff that they offer. So go ahead and explore all those. So that's just one widget. This is just the alert box widget, right? So if I go back to layers, we now have alert box. We have settings for the alert box, position, size, and style. So you can change some of the numbers here if you want to adjust them to be pixel perfect. You can do that here instead of clicking and dragging. Those numbers will change as we change that. You can see those numbers adjusting. Rotation, you can rotate this stuff so it's upside down if you want to.
It will. Ainsley is now following.
You can do anything you want to do. All right, let's go back to layers. Let's add a new widget. So, but when it's empty, it says add widget, but normally you just hit this plus and you get the same menu. There's a countdown. So if you want to do a countdown timer, like I do when I do my stream starting thing. You can just drag that on there. You can style that, make it bigger, do whatever you want. But right here in the settings for that widget, the default is 10 minutes. You can adjust that to whatever you need. The only thing that kind of sucks is I sometimes want different times. So when I'm about to start my stream on my starting stream one right here, I have to go all the way over to Stream Elements, click that widget, edit the time, save it, and then I have to come into OBS, select that browser overlay, and there's a refresh button right here. I think you can also right-click it. No, there's not. So you have to click this. I think you can open it up and there's a refresh in here. Yeah, right there. Refresh cache of current page. But if you just click it in this little bar right here, you can see refresh, and that will reload the browser source, and then it will restart that countdown timer, which I have set to 5 minutes currently on my Stream Elements widget. So anyway, there's that. You can come down and add labels for subscribers. These all integrate. Just play with the settings. I don't think there's really a lot to go through here. I think hopefully it should make pretty straightforward sense to you guys. Static, custom, you can add text, images, video, all that kind of stuff. Just mess around with this workspace. There's tons of stuff you can do in here. You can add your stream chat. So here's my stream chat. If we type something into the stream chat, you will see it show up there. Maybe it doesn't show up in the preview here. Oh yeah, there it goes. It's just delayed. So that shows up on the overlay automatically. And all you have to do is copy that overlay into a browser source. That's it. It's pretty easy. Any other widgets we should talk about? I think that's it. I don't really think there's anything else to go into. We've already hit that hour-and-a-half mark. Let's go ahead and call it here, guys. Do you guys have any questions? Nope. Going once. Going twice. I think everyone's bored and tired. Sorry it went on so long, you guys. I think we'll call it here. Let's go ahead and do the stream ending. I appreciate you guys showing up and asking questions, and I hope I helped some people. I hope you guys all have a good night, and let me just promote this weekend. We're doing our Past the Stream event, the 3rd and the 4th, Friday to Saturday.
I was just gonna tell you.
if you want to sign up,
we still remind you.
I appreciate it. We still have some empty
DeLorean
spaces.
says thanks for being awesome.
Thanks, DeLorean. Let's head over to Chevcast TV. In fact, while I have this up already, let's just do that real quick. I'll show you guys. Just go to Chevcast TV, and then if you scroll down, there's the Past the Stream event here. If you hit register now, there's the Past the Stream event here. Get away, go away. Okay. There's a box here with a bunch of info, with all the details for how to sign up and all that stuff. But really, just how to sign up is you just scroll down here. You click sign me up. It will have you authenticate with your Twitch, and that's it. You've taken that spot. You can also sign up as a backup, so that's important because people inevitably drop out. So if the more people we can get to sign up as backups, the better. I am working on building
Bree, Elfie's there. I'm there. Dolls is there.
Yep.
Shopper, I don't see you. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
So definitely go. Come over here, sign up to participate in the event. Basically, it's everyone takes a chunk of this 24-hour event, and then the person before you raids your stream when their time is done, dumping all their followers on you, or all their viewers into your stream.
All your followers.
Yeah, they're not their followers, excuse me, they're viewers.
Khan says, I will look at availability.
Awesome.
Wow, availability.
And then when you're done with your stream, you'll just have to do a /raid onto the next stream. The next time I do this, though, it's going to automatically do the raid for you. When you authenticate your Twitch, it will automatically have permission to be able to do the raid for you. But not this time. You'll have to manually do it.
That'd be amazing.
But anyway, yeah, so go sign up. This is kind of a beta. Like we're experimenting with this setup process. It'll get better the more of these we do. So
DeLorean says he'll go to a park at 3 a.m. and stream some ducks.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're going to take obviously the free time slots we have are mostly early morning, awkward times now. So if someone feels like they can just take a nap and stay up late and do some of these, that would be much appreciated. I feel like I'm going to be filling in a lot of these empty slots, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, and if someone wants the one right after me, that's like the weird like 3 to 4. I can take away the 2 to 3. So you can have a few hours if you want. So it's not just like an awkward hour time slot.
For sure.
Unless that works for someone. Who knows?
I am going to lift the limit tomorrow. It was two time slots was the limit. But since we're coming down to the wire, I'm going to go just remove the limit, let people fill in as many time slots as they want. And so that we can hopefully get this filled up. The last one was super awesome, and it was not organized super well, and it still was awesome. So I think this will be a lot of fun. Thanks, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and finally end this here. I appreciate all of you. If you liked this, and you liked my channel, and you liked me, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, or that follow button, whatever platform you're on. And we'll see you around.
Yeah, subscribe to YouTube for later content about stuff like this.